Hey, happy Wednesday, man. It's a different color shade of blue here today as it's not rumor and innuendo, it's bloomer and innuendo. And you know why, guys? It is because Robert is gone for now. He'll be back potentially Friday, but I'm happy to have him with me here. He's the Pierre Robert of pro wrestling. He is. only a certain demographic will get that. A geographical demographic will get that. It is Blue Meanie. Meanie, thanks for joining me today, man. This should be fun.
Hump day. Good to be here with my fellow partner in the Keystone Connection, the Pittsburgh Philly connection over here.
That's right.
They say Pittsburgh, they say Pennsylvania is Pittsburgh, Philly, and Kentucky in between. So,
that's exactly it. That is exactly it.
I remember being in an elevator with Tony Gurria. He's like, "You drive through Pennsylvania, all you smell is cow shit."
It's true.
That's Pennsylvania.
That is the rolling hills of Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir. But thanks for having me, man. Happy to fill in. Today.
It's
be a guest host.
That's right. That's right. We got some good stuff to cover too. I'm excited to get your perspective on a lot of things. Typically, Robert and I we reviewed both. Robert D. Felice and I reviewed Raw last night, but I definitely want to get your perspective on it, considering all that went down on there. We'll start off with that.
Sure.
The Riot Six made their debut, and in very chilling and cinematic fashion. Very much well praised across social media, and I think both from wrestlers, both from dirt sheets, both from all across the board. It's been
them dirty sheets, man.
Them dirty sheets, man. You know. So, but Blue Meanie, I just want to get your perspective on that. What did you think about it? And you gave some great insight too on social media.
Oh, thank you, dude. I loved it. It was the payoff of the thing we've been waiting for. The brilliantly marketed, built up, debut. With the QR codes and the interruptions and it's like the Max Headroom interruptions that you used to see, the mystery of the Max Headroom satellite takeover or whatever it was. I don't know. Somebody will fact check me, but dude, I loved it. And it's been a long time coming, and there's always that speculation of who's going to be in it. Eric Redbeard was in it, and then you see all the characters, Nikki Cross. And that explains, the whole Nikki Cross standing there catatonic.
Yeah.
The months leading up to, when she's just standing there like, deadpan and all this chaos is going on around her, and she's just standing there, very like deadpan. That explains that, I loved it. And you kind of feel like the crescendo was going to come this Monday. And I'm glad it did. And like I said, the build up they had throughout, the months leading up to this, and the perfect way they, in my opinion, build up to it throughout the show with, the Drew McIntyre, non-promo.
Yep.
Where he goes in the ring and goes, Drew McIntyre comes out frustrated with CM Punk, says he quits, storms to the locker room. You see a really good shot of how the gorilla position looks at the moment.
Yep.
Triple H, talks to him. Adam Pearce talks to him. Then they chase him down that hallway.
Mm-hmm. Just
to set up later on. Lights go out. Nikki Cross comes out. I'm assuming she's Sister Abigail.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's she does the point. Awesome. They go through, and gorilla positions in shambles. And, and then they go down that same hallway that they chased Drew, and there's, Howdy, and a new look Howdy, which I really like a lot. The previous Howdy mask, I was like, man, how's he going to breathe in that? Just you're going to have to run an oxygen tube of it. But the debut was fantastic. I loved it. Very interested to see where it goes. And people go, well, how are they going to function? At,
Mm-hmm.
are they going to have supernatural matches? Are they going to have the theatrical matches? And to me, it's a lot like the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Undertaker was this supernatural wrestler. You know, dead man. You know, now we got this crew, this cult, so to speak, and I think they can function as well. It's just I believe in the creative. They got great guys there like Rob Fee, who's doing an amazing job backstage, you know, developing characters, and I think we're about to see something really cool, and to carry on the legacy of Bray Wyatt.
I think I agree with you. I think there's certainly trepidation when it comes to certain things like that because we've seen how the Fiend was executed in the past, and like how are you going to make like this fear tactic where he's constantly quote unquote like taking people out and like putting fear in wrestlers where you're in a business where you have to look masculine and like legitimate and want to be able to fight and ready to fight and everything like that, but you have to sell fear too at certain points when you're because this is a huge entity. This Fiend person was, and
Yes.
so like you trying to cultivate that over the course of time without it over encompassing the whole show because he's such like this super. How do you make this kind of work from a long-term perspective as you're building and you're dealing with this certain things? Now, there is a report from Fightful that says the game plan is for it to not be supernatural. It's
Right.
for them to be more selective with who they're not going to target all of Raw. They're going to have certain targets that they're going to make for. And the people that were taken out that you might have seen backstage, which was very hard to see. Like there was a lot of names that I saw a list of that they were like I potentially Gunther was backstage, Dom Mysterio was backstage. We clearly saw Chad Gable backstage, but those were all with intention. Whoever was laid out back there, and so
Now, I not to cut you off. Sorry about that,
go ahead.
but
No, absolutely.
I have to say, if you're going to rewatch it on TV.
Mhm.
When I first watched it, I was watching on my cell phone, which isn't as good as my TV.
Yeah,
So I was like, man, who is in there? And
yeah,
then I went back and watched on TV. I was like, oh, there they are. You know, just a big screen as opposed to a cell phone watching on YouTube TV.
right.
You know, just definitely go back and watch it on TV. And I'm sure they put it up on their YouTube by now, a lot clearer so people could see.
Yeah.
And by the way, that wasn't a bullet hole in Chad Gable's head. Please stop.
No, guys, come on.
They're a supernatural crew. I don't think they need a gun, you know,
I think
even
they're
though
okay.
we know they're not going to be a supernatural crew, but it's cool it'd be cool to have like a cult like Manson type family, you
Yeah.
know, the way Bray had it. It's just a continuation.
And you know what? Like,
It's like I'm sorry.
no,
It's
go
like
ahead.
a wrestling universe where you have this one universe and there's the offshoot of the universe, which will be the six.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm hoping too. I said this yesterday too. I'm hoping too next week there's like it's almost like a stripped down Raw because people were taken out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what? It's very bare bones.
They
You
do a
know,
lot of call ups, you know.
all ups would be cool. I like too the fact. I think this is kind of understated too. That Michael Cole, whenever the QR codes would pop up, and he's like, "Oh, there it is again." You know, well, geez, are they supposed to come today? Like he kind of underselling it, and then here, boom, they hit you. It's like crazy. Okay, there's chaos. This is really scary, guys. Like they really
Yeah.
screwed crap up back here, and
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that they really carry that momentum into next week about like, oh God, we got to be careful. Like I even kind of liked how Jey Uso did. If you saw that clip, that exclusive clip of him talking backstage with Kathy Kelly, he was like kind of playful about it, but he was like, I don't want any of that smoke. Like, guys, you can have the Fireflies back. It's totally fine. Like, well set up stuff, Meanie.
One little detail I wish they kind of would have done
Mm-hmm.
during the Uso match, during Jay's match, and during the celebration, they would have played like, "Hey, did our headphones cut out? What's like?" Because we all know, you know, the grill position feeds the headphones. If they go, "Hey, what was that?" Sorry, folks, we're having technical difficulties with our headphones. There's some, you know, something going on, you know,
Yeah.
or they could have worded it better than I would, but just to play off that, oh, hey, something's going. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, whatever. But you know, just I wish that tiny little detail could have. I mean, it was good as it was, but this is me Wednesday morning quarterbacking.
Yeah, a couple days later.
Yeah.
This week.
Everybody's an expert in hindsight, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I too, before we move on,
Yes,
I remember when Nikki Cross did come out crawling, and I was like,
she's
"Oh, this
awesome. She's
great,
awesome.
great." I was concerned, like, "Oh my god, how is this gonna pan out though? Like, is this gonna look awkward, like what they do and everything like that? This whole setup of it all." But it was flawless. It was
Yeah,
really flawless in how it was done and everything. Like her pointing back there, I was like, "That's freaking cool." And then
that
it
was
just going
freaky. That was creepy. I was just
yes,
like,
right?
if somebody said go back there, I'd be like, no,
Great.
yeah, I ain't going back there.
No, you want me to go back there with this camera? Oh my god.
You first. You first.
It was great too, and just like how everything was laid out. There was a lot of blood in Gorilla. I will say that. Like, no death was not a part of the issue, but there was a lot of
Yeah,
blood.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was excellent. It was cool to hear Howdy speak.
Yes.
You know, finally we're here, and I'm interested. I'm in.
Me too, man. Me too. You know,
They got me hooked.
they hooked me too.
Yeah, bro.
You know, I'm riding for the moment. We'll cross that. Like a lot of people are concerned about, like, okay, how is it going to all lay out from a long term perspective? But I think let's enjoy it while it
And
goes
that's the
on.
art of it. You
That
know,
is. Mhm.
they got people talking. They got people going. When you get people saying, "How are they going to do this?" That means they're invested to watch next week as well and see the follow up. And most people who I know who are kind of just like on wrestling right now are like, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
Yeah. And the thing is too, Meanie, I usually when Raw's over, if I watch it on Monday, I'll just go to bed. But I was up on social media like
Me too.
a while after the fact, you know, and that tells you something.
I did my little tweet at like yeah. I did my tweet at like 2 a.m. because I was still thinking about it, and I was like, "Oh, the Drew thing," and
Yeah,
I went out and found the footage of the Drew quitting, and I posted on social media, and that got a little bit of traction, and it's just like I loved it. I love it, man. Again, I'll be watching.
me too. And me too. Also, I wanted to get your thoughts on Seth Rollins returning and that dynamic too with him and Damian Priest. I think I said this to Robert D. Felice yesterday. Was I think this is a good thing to really good way to put Priest over if that's the route they take. Like if they have him beat Rollins at Money in the Bank, kind of establishes him as a champion where he's been trying to prove himself. And he's everything that he's kind of done has kind of been like snake bitten because of what in the context of him winning. Like he won the Money in the Bank, obviously, like it cashed it in. And then here, like he got saved by CM Punk in a way. So
Yeah.
what do you think of that dynamic with Rollins returning, Priest? And that all that positioning going on.
Well, it was good to see Rollins back.
Yes.
You know, never want to see somebody injured, and I'm assuming he's 100% now.
Mhm.
And it was a great way to bring him back because last time we saw him, he was losing the belt, and now he's coming back for the belt that he took pride in establishing. You know, when that belt was first debuted, a lot of people poo-pooed that belt the way they poo-pooed the Universal title at first, and then we saw how the Universal title became in high regard. Now you just got to establish this belt, and Seth Rollins was doing an amazing job establishing that belt.
Mhm.
Now his claim could be, well, I was injured and that's why I lost the belt. But now that he's healthy, the guy who's holding his seat, keeping his seat warm as WWE champion, he wants that belt back because he knows what he had plans for that belt. He had visions for that belt, and those visions got interrupted by Drew, and then subsequently Damian Priest. And again, you're establishing the guy's coming back from injury. He wants the belt back that he doesn't think he would have lost if he was 100% against a guy who beat a guy who wasn't at 100% at WrestleMania. And you go through with this, and if Damian successfully, sorry, first day with the new mouth, defends that belt against Seth Rollins, it furthers established Damian Priest as a world champion. as a solo champion. You know, he was great with the tag team championships as a solo champion and as a main eventer. And full disclosure, I love Damian Priest. I have a connection with Damian. You know,
Yeah,
going back to
Monster Factory.
Monster Factory. Helped train him, not train him, help mentor and coach him for a little bit. And I mean, he had plenty of help, but I was one of the people who also helped. I want to see him do awesome things. I see him do the awesome things I know he could do.
What haven't we seen from Priest yet that he's capable of?
Dude, he's a total package. He's got the rock star looks. He's got charisma, and he can go. I mean, if he's not your typical big man, he's an agile big man, and he draws from a lot of influences, and I'm happy that they're giving him the ball. I know they believe in him, and he believes in himself, and his story is one to be celebrated, because there's a moment in time where he almost gave up on the wrestling industry.
Wow.
Maybe 14 years ago, he gave up. He was just like, I'll just do some shows when we and then a couple of us got in his ear and was like, dude, you can do this. And he transformed his body and his look into what he is now. It's incredible. For anybody out there who's struggling and floundering on the indies and think they don't have a shot, look at what Damian Priest did. And that's the blueprint of how to turn your career around.
Yeah. And I tell you what, like what they kind of been doing with him and the dynamic with him and Dom and the Liv Morgan stuff, he's kind of playing like the voice of reason almost when it comes to this stuff. Like, and he's like the authoritative figure amongst the Judgment Day now that Rhea's gone too. And I think that's kind of laying a good groundwork for what he can be as a babyface too moving forward. I think he's just got that connection with the fans from the cool factor. He can be a cool anti-hero, or he can play the heel if needed. And I think they're laying a good table. They're setting the table, I think, for him to make a big face turn, I think, here upcoming.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. I that's what that's
and he's got such appeal, and then hopefully they start running shows down in Puerto Rico again, and he can go down there as a babyface and not a heel versus Bad Bunny this time. He could be celebrated amongst his folks. So I know he's very proud of it, his heritage. So I would love to see him go down there as a babyface instead of a heel this time.
Yes, and you know what too? He got to do that Puerto Rican Pride Parade in New York City just a little bit ago, and that was really neat. That footage was really cool to see too. So
yeah, knowing him, that did my blue heart good.
Right? Yeah, it did. And you know what, guys? I gotta say, hey, somebody did something else blue for us really good too. Because you know what? This episode of BLUEmor and Innuendo is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex. Meanie, guys, remember when the days you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, and you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the US of A and prepared and shipped directly to your door in a discreet package. So you could be missing out on the best sex of your life. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of BLUEmor and Innuendo.
Now, I got to say, first of all, thank you to Blue Chew for sponsoring this show. But you said a word in there, and it sparked a memory. Cialis. You know why Cialis is called Cialis?
Why?
is the first guy who took it. Went, see, Alice, I told you the thing still worked. So, there you go. Thank you to Blue Chew for sponsoring the show, and I'll see myself out.
Linger around just a little bit more, Meanie, because we got on tap too. Let's touch upon NXT real quick.
Sure.
The crossover.
Get me out of this. Go ahead.
The crossover between TNA and NXT continued last night. Do you believe in Joe Henry, Meanie, first off?
Talk about a guy who was born to be on camera.
Right?
Joe Henry makes me feel some kind of way. No, dude, so cool, man. I love this crossover. TNA, I'm happy TNA's still around. There's a period of time where I was just out on TNA.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh man, just what's going on? But like, I have and it's not the performers, because I have a lot of friends who've worked there over the years and stuff like that. I want them to do great, but the fact that WWE NXT is working with TNA, it's shaking things up. It's making things fun, making things interesting. And to see Joe Henry last night on NXT, awesome. This is a great way for WWE NXT to show TNA to a whole new market who might not have known TNA was a thing. A lot of people gave me grief. Well, not a lot of people. A couple of people gave me grief, for my my gorilla position observation. They're like, well, we all have seen what the gorilla position looks like, but you can't assume everybody has seen and knows what you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know it. I know it. But Joe Schmo flipping channels at whatever time of night might not know what a TNA is. Just like they might not know what the gorilla position normally looks like. So you have to treat people like they've never seen something before or heard something before, because you're going for that casual viewer. Us hardcores, we know it.
Yeah.
We know what it is. So you're exposing TNA to a whole new world. And that does great stuff for NXT programming, but hopefully TNA gets the rub from the exposure, and they make future stars that, can either when they're done with their TNA run, could go to NXT, and TNA strong enough that, like, if WWE doesn't have something for somebody, they could go over to TNA, as JR once told me, put on a fresh coat of paint.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what? And it creates a lot of speculation of what's to come, what's going to happen. Even with McIntyre, hey, he quit WWE. What if he shows up in TNA? Is that a possibility? Like, it's just, you create a lot of elements. He's a former champion there, so maybe he'll just get sick of all this crap that he's been dealing with here in CM Punk. Boom, we'll see him up on Impact at one point in time.
Dude, that would be amazing. I would love to, the fact that, they were in Scotland for Clash of the Castle, and just to hear Michael Cole bring up the letters TNA to AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. It was amazing. And, you can have that crossover, AJ go back and come back and forth, and it's great. And look, it's great for the business.
It's awesome for the business. And you think about it too, WWE has so many former TNA talents there. Like, that library could be available to them. Like, you put up footage on there, and geez, you get that synergy between two companies. You're getting more eyes on TNA by watching the WWE product, and it helps elevate a smaller promotion, but it helps further WWE establish their brand as that big mothership entity too, that they're furthering and moving on. It's a pretty cool stuff. I'm excited for it, Meanie.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Let's preview AEW Dynamite real quick. They announced the Owen Hart Cup, the opening round matches.
Awesome.
Here, 2 of them. We got Claudio going up against Pac with Brian Danielson on commentary. Then we also have Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander are the 2 matches announced for the Owen Hart Cup. You had one of the first times I got to meet you. Actually, it was the second time, I think, was StarCast 2. You talked about Owen Hart and stuff like that in your relationship.
Dude, love Owen Hart. Had to spend some time with him in I was a fan of Owen Hart, who wasn't. And then I got to go to WWE in 1998. There's a whole decade of
that's a lot of years.
Yeah, there's a whole decade I'm missing, brother. But Owen, amazing, kind, gentle, great ribber.
Yes.
if you've been ribbed by Owen Hart, it's a badge of honor. But I love that AEW is carrying on his name. I love that Martha is allowing AEW to keep his flame alive, promote him, and doing action figures with him, and they're doing great things for the Owen Hart Foundation. So I'm all for this. I'm excited for it. I love the fact that the winners get the belts. Because I'm a belt mark. People look at paintings. I look at championship belts as like pieces of art. But yeah, I'm excited to see the kickoff tonight, and what better way to establish the kickoff of the Owen Hart Cup with all these great competitors.
Right. It's kind of interesting too because Pac staked his claim for going into the Owen Hart Cup. So did Danielson. So like those seem like viable guys. You have Claudio. He's kind of the wild card. Could he upset Pac?
Claudio's amazing. He's unreal. I want to slice him open and see if there's not a machine in there.
I know, right? It's like, and I was so excited when he came into AEW, and I'm still excited for him. But the aspect is like he's just been so underutilized throughout the course of his time there, and it's just like you want to see he could have been in any big program. Like they had that battle royal to determine who was gonna, or the gauntlet match it was to determine it was gonna challenge Swerve instead of Will Ospreay. I would have put Claudio there because you could build the Will Ospreay later on, and it's just like I don't know. So it's neat to see him in there. I don't want to see either of those guys lose, though, in the opening round.
Right. And that's the thing. The good thing about the Owen Hart Cup, it could be like a King of the Ring type thing where the winner gets elevated a little bit in the eyes of the fans.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be a way for Claudio to, not that he needs it. He's a great talent, but it's just like you said, he's kind of been lost in the shuffle. And unfortunately, we hear that about a lot of people who go to AEW. There's a lot of talent there, but there's only so much TV time.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Everybody's fighting for that TV time, and what do you do when you got over 200 guys on the roster and 3 hours a week of TV? So
exactly, and then you have that aspect where Dynamite is now the big primetime show. Collision's kind of lost some cachet over the year, and then Rampage is basically forgettable in the viewers' eyes. And it's just like if they're not on that main show, you might not see them for a while. You know what I mean? So it's an issue. So also on tap, the Young Bucks will be going up against the Acclaimed in an eliminator match. So that if the Acclaimed win, they'll challenge the Bucks for the titles. I've expressed very vehemently how I'm against eliminator matches, but made it make sense every time there's an eliminator match, they usually don't win. I think Acclaim might win this one though.
Is that like the opposite of a qualifier match?
Is
that their rebranding of a qualifier match?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those either.
Yeah. But we might see them actually turn up and make something of it this week.
Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Meanie.
Yes.
You are Mr. Saturday Morning. Why don't you tell us about what you got cooking for ad-free shows on the weekend?
Hey, I'm happy to be a part of the ad-free shows family. Again, thank you for having me today. Every Saturday morning, mornings with Meanie. 11 a.m. Saturday mornings. Sometimes it might have to fluctuate here and there, but it's still in the morning and it's still with Meanie. Every Saturday morning on ad-free shows, available to every tier. I'm thankful that AEW is making me, ad-free shows, sorry.
Same thing.
Is making me available to all the subscription tiers. So, yeah, and I also have my own podcast, Mind of the Meanie, which drops every Monday morning wherever you get your favorite podcast. Me and Adam Bernard are having a lot of fun there. So I'm doing a lot of good things, and today is one of them.
It's always fun to have you on here. You were my, I think, either third, second, or fourth ever interview that I've done. So
awesome. I'm the cousin Oliver of like the Brady Bunch.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I come on and the ratings just tank.
That's not true,
dude. I would use that insult like, oh, look at this guy's cousin Oliver, and then I'm watching Sharknado. I was like, oh, this guy's the cousin Oliver, and it was cousin Oliver, the guy.
Oh, no way, seriously?
Yeah, cousin Oliver was in Sharknado.
Oh, what?
The one time my joke backfired,
My go-to for obscure sitcom characters is Richie Cunningham's brother in Happy Days. He walked up the steps, never returned.
Amazing.
Amazing stuff.
Yes.
Hey, this has been amazing. It's been BLUEmor and Innuendo. We got to do this again, Meanie.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Save the background. Save the background.
I will. I will keep this on tap for future endeavors like this. And by the way, guys, good luck in your future endeavors. We'll see you next time here on Rumor and Innuendo. BLUEmor and Innuendo. Excuse me.